working on a crochet project today. Still trying to get, there we go, this streaming thing figured out. Super casual today. Nothing too crazy. I'm probably going to hear my 4-month-old in the background because she is super chatty. Yeah, you are. You have lots to say. That's strange. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? La 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 la. Well, it's honestly just you and me right now, kid. Yeah. You don't say. Really? You know it's cold outside when your rings won't stay put because your hands are so cold. They're small. I'm gonna have to take that off. Trying out the stream up close without my microphone hooked up, seeing how that sounds, seeing how it does. So I'm still trying to get all of this figured out. It's a process. Mm-hmm. She's actually been pretty quiet up until this moment. Up until I started streaming. Now she has lots to say. See if anybody comes and hangs out today. Maybe not. That's okay. Nothing else. This gives me a whole hour to work on this hat. Yeah. You're going to be the most active you've been all day right now, aren't you? Uh-huh. Of course you are. Of course you are. Figures. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, gotta pull that out. Hello, Weeping Willow 463. I am working on a mermaid scale slouch beanie. It is a pattern I created myself, and once it's done, it'll go up in my Etsy shop. You working on anything today? I have a couple that are done already. Really like how those colors came out. Have not gotten them up in my shop yet, but you can see we got this really, see if it shows up. As you can see, it's got the nice little scale pattern in it. I really like it. I'm absolutely in love with the colors of this yarn. Aw, thank you. One of the fun things about working on a pattern that I've created myself is remembering exactly what I did. Sometimes that's a struggle.
changing stuff still in the...
It's in the bedroom.
Okay.
I love crochet. Like, it's honestly, it's what keeps me sane. I'm glad you're trying it out and finding it relaxing.
Whoa, that probably wasn't the best way to do that.
Did you teach yourself weaving willow, or did you have a friend teach you? Learn from YouTube, books? How'd you figure it out? How'd you find it out? Yeah, I'm pretty sure my family is sick of getting crocheted things as gifts. Nice. Yeah, occasionally if I want to figure out a new stitch, YouTube is my very best friend. Or if I just need a refresher, because I do a lot of different handicrafts and bouncing between them sometimes makes it difficult to remember exactly what skill goes with what craft. But I always come back to crochet. That and counted cross stitch. That is something that I do mostly for my sanity. Except for one of my current projects. That's not at all for my sanity. It's driving me up the wall. I especially like sticking with super basic stitches that I can do a lot of fun things with. It's really fun when you can start making your own patterns. Just make sure you write them down. Have you done any amigurumi yet? Any of the little characters? That's actually what I started with. That's the whole reason I learned how to crochet. Okay. Yes, it can be very time consuming. Okay, that's like the most inconvenient way you could lay. There, right there, there, stay. This is Oswald Cobblepup here. He is the most awkward snuggler ever. He specializes in being in exactly the wrong place. He's very cute and very stupid. You know, some dogs are super intelligent and, you know, they can work with you on tricks and things and all of that jazz. He's not. I'm pretty sure I know some hammers that are smarter than he is. So, fun story about amigurumi and time consuming. I once got the brilliant idea to try and make a Spartan army. There's a Spartan pattern in one of the books that I have that I can't remember the title of currently. And I decided I was going to make 300 of them, you know, like the movie, like the myth and the legend and all of that jazz. I don't remember exactly how many I actually did get made. It was over 100 of them. But I crocheted so much that I caused a ganglion cyst to start growing in the base of my thumb, and I had to give up crochet entirely for nearly a year for it to go away, because I was literally crocheting in every possible free moment that I had. I was also going through a rough time in my life and was not entirely sane, I don't think. So yeah, 10 of 10, do not recommend. Stick with slightly smaller projects. I tend to rein in that enthusiasm now. Oh yeah, no, it's fine now. It went down eventually, but yeah. Moral of the story: don't crochet as much as physically possible. You could cause yourself problems. Ah, yes, school. School gets in the way of things. Yeah, at the time I was working sort of full time at a coffee shop, but that was pretty much all I was doing. And yeah. I would even take it with me and work on stuff on my lunch break. And yeah, don't recommend that. It's partially also why I have so many different types of crafts now, is because I can switch it up and keep from doing too much of the same repetitive movement. Can I ask how old you are? You can totally not answer, it's fine. 17. All right. So I'm very nearly twice your age, and I'm going to share with you one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got. And that is, the less you care about what other people think of you, the better your quality of life is going to be. If you have something that brings you joy, do it, and do it with abandon. Don't let anyone else's opinion stop you from enjoying it. Because in the long run, it doesn't matter what random person nearby thinks of you. If you are happy doing something, do it. I've taken all sorts of crafts, all sorts of places. I think my favorite was spinning some yarn with a drop spindle on a subway in New York City. And some people kind of looked at me like it was really weird, but mostly people were fascinated by it. They were really interested in what it was I was doing. I've also done crochet on the subway before, and people love to ask what you're making. And yeah, it's if some random person thinks you're being weird, then that's more of a reflection of their uptight worldview than it is on whether or not you are weird. Also, I gotta say, I have way more fun being weird than than if I tried to be normal, whatever normal is. I think normal is subjective. True story. Trying to be like everybody else is way harder than just being yourself. Where was I? It was actually really funny. At one point, taking a crochet project with me to work wound up inadvertently keeping me from having to go to the hospital. I am deathly allergic to lavender, and I was working at a grocery store we have over here called Trader Joe's, and there's a whole section of the store that I couldn't work because of that allergy. And long story short there, I was working one section that was on the other side of the wall from the lavender stuff, and somebody dropped something and it broke open and filled the air, and I had a very, very swift reaction to it, and several of my coworkers ran into the break room to get my rescue inhaler, but they didn't know which locker my stuff was in. And they started throwing open lockers and looking inside, and they found one that had a purse that had skulls on it and yarn sticking out of it, and they thought, surely this must be hers, because that's just, I guess, who I am as a person. But they were correct. It was, in fact, my purse, and it had my rescue inhaler in it, so they were able to get that to me because I was on the floor gasping for breath. So, you know, sometimes it pays to be a little weird. Yes. Yes, crochet everything on everything all the time forever. Why are you being so difficult? Yeah, got it. Yeah, my yarn stash is pretty obscene. It's obscene. There's a lot of yarn. Um, I kind of struck gold at one point with a friend of my ex-husband. His wife was wanting to get rid of her stash of yarn because she was trying to get into something else crafty wise, and she wanted to make space for it. So I bought it from her, and I did not understand what I was purchasing when I agreed to it. And I spent, I think, $40 maybe. And my now ex-husband, he picked up the stash from his friend, and I had him bring it inside on a weekend day so that I could ball it, I could check it out, see what I wanted to keep, see what maybe I wanted to pass on to my other fiber friends. And he brought in this huge, big, like, black trash bag full of yarn. And I was like, wow, okay, you know, I feel like I got my money's worth there. And he goes, no, wait, there's more. Oh, okay. So he goes out to the car and he brings in a second huge black trash bag. I was like, wow, I really, man, I got a great deal. He goes, no, wait, there's more. And I was like, what? Brings in a third big black trash bag full of yarn. And I was like, is that it? Is that all of it? He goes, no. And he goes back out another time and comes in with a smaller trash bag full of yarn. Going through the pile of all of it, there was probably $1,000 worth of yarn that I got for $40 because this lady wanted to make room for whatever craft it was she was wanting to get into. And I've been working through that yarn ever since, and that was back in 2013, I think. 2014. Yeah, no, 2014. It was in the end of 2014. And I still have yarn from that I have yet to actually figure out something to do with. And I have given away so much of it to friends of mine. I needed help moving at one point, and I, instead of the whole pizza and beer trope, um, I offered to let them go through my yarn stash and pick out some yarn for helping me move. Um, yeah, online yarn can be expensive, especially if it is hand spun, hand dyed. Um, but then you're also paying for the labor and the love that goes into it. More mass-produced yarns are really good for, especially amigurumi. You want to use acrylic, not really the hand-spun fancy stuff. But sometimes you can find good deals, and sometimes not so much. Oh, man. The nice thing about yarn is no matter how long you have it, it doesn't really go bad. So if you start collecting or start building a little stash, then it's fine. I think what I'm using right now is actually cotton, which is also nice to use for, you can make like dishcloths or anything like that. And it doesn't shrink or get mussed up in the wash. I'm getting so much done on this. I'm so excited. Huh. With acrylic yarns, you're actually going to want to just spot clean them, to be honest, especially if you're doing amigurumi. Just a damp rag. If you've got something on it that seems to have stained it a little bit, then you might want to use a little bit of mild dish detergent, but you don't really want to put them in the wash because that will screw them up. And honestly, anything that you make clothing wise or whatever, you're gonna want to hand wash it no matter what. There's just too much that can happen in a washing machine to handmade items. But yeah, for the most part, spot cleaning is your friend. I wish the sun was not washing out these colors so much. I don't know if that's really showing up. Yeah, it's sort of. You can kind of see. Reminds me of like cotton candy colors, besides the classic pink, obviously. The slight purple and blue. Really digging on that. Last year, um, as I was nearing the end of my pregnancy, I have a 19-week-old. She's just over 4 months old. I would walk around the block because I didn't want to go too far from home by myself. But I would walk around the block crocheting. And you want to talk about people looking at you weird? I was massively pregnant and walking and crocheting as I walked because it becomes very like second nature after a while. It becomes very muscle memory, especially if it's a good consistent yarn like this one is. The more inconsistent sizes the yarn is, the less easy it is to sort of just catch it without really paying attention. But I've been crocheting now for 10 years. I've been crocheting for a decade. So it just does become muscle memory the more you do it. And especially, this is a size H hook. I don't know what you guys' sizes are like. 5mm is what this one comes out to. I don't know. Can you see that? Where's the thing? There we go. Yeah, so it's a size H. It's a 5mm. And that's my favorite size to work with because the hook is big enough to, be easy to handle and to catch the yarn. Now, when I'm doing miniature crochet, that is a different story entirely. I really have to focus on that because the smaller the crochet hook, the harder it is to catch the yarn easily. And I have done stuff that, well, if you go on Instagram, if you're on Instagram at all, Cozy Corgi Crafts, that is my Etsy shop. You can find a picture somewhere in my feed of a mushroom that it easily sits on a quarter, 25-cent piece. And that kind of tiny crochet I have to really, really focus on. Like, I don't know that I would be able to stream and do that at the same time. What's actually more difficult for me is counting and carrying on a conversation at the same time. Thankfully, this pattern is mostly just repeating. It just does the same thing over and over. Yeah, 4mm, 3mm is very, very common for amigurumi, especially if you're using worsted weight. It's a very standard, very typical size of yarn. It is fun to play with different sizes of hooks, ratios of weights of yarn, just to see kind of what the difference is, what it comes out. You're doing the same amount of stitches, but you might end up with a slightly larger or slightly smaller project, or finished product rather, because of the difference in the size of the hook. And then also just, tension. I tend to crochet pretty tight. I think that's indicative of my need for control. Lol. But the looser you crochet changes the size, the tighter you crochet it changes the size, different size yarns, different size hooks. Where am I in my pattern? 1, 2, 3, there. Nope. There. Hmm. Yeah. So, yeah. Yes, Cozy Corgi Crafts. Or you can go on my, actually, you should just be able to scroll down from the video here. I have my, my regular IRL Insta that you can find it from. So let's see. Cozy Corgi Crafts. So that's what you want to search on Instagram to find that page. Or, like I said, scroll down from the stream here and there's a link to my regular one. And you get to see all of the weirdness in my life. Um, Absolutely. You are welcome. Definitely give me a follow on those. And then you can see when I am streaming again. I might make this one a regular thing, maybe, possibly, depends. It's really it's up to my kid as to whether or not I'm able to have a normal schedule. But I also stream on Saturday mornings. I am a yoga teacher, so I do that one on the regular as well, because my partner is home to watch the kiddo while I do that. Yeah, and definitely follow me here. Oh, yeah. Yes, that spelling is not what I used. um, Definitely give me a follow here on Twitch, and that way you can see whenever I've got a Stitch and Bitch going, or if you're interested in yoga at all, you know, if it works out with your schedule. 1, 2, sweet. 1, 2. Yay! Thank you so much. Very excited. I'm just getting started out on this whole Twitch streaming thing. Mostly it's out of trying to stay sane while I am unable to pretty much leave my house at all. Um, you know, having a small child and dealing with pandemic life is you do what you gotta to try and stay sane. So this is my latest attempt at hanging on to the last shreds of my sanity. You know, I have friends that have kids ranging from fairly young to quite a bit older, and it's a mess. It's a mess. But I'm hearing my wee one being really fussy with my mother-in-law, so I'm probably gonna have to bail a little bit early on this stream. I was hoping to make it another 15 minutes, but I'm thinking I might have to go see what's up there.
Might be thinking nap or food.
Hang on. But hey, Weeping Willow, thanks for hanging out with me, and appreciate you sticking around, and appreciate the follows, and I will hopefully see you next time.
I think she's fine. She seemed a little something sore.
Yeah,